contented state of mind, I think. You have to have a sense of humour, of course, to be happy on earth. I think that's enough. Well, my living room has paintings done by a local artist. It has a painting done by yourself. It has a little postcard of a painting done by my granddaughter, your daughter. And I have a photograph, which I rather like, done by a friend, of just a still life of a pair of jeans and some purple cloth. And apart from that, just photographs, I think. Well, you know, I think there is. Yes. Quite definitely. It stems from my teenager experience with the Methodist Association of Youth Clubs, where we attended rally at the Albert Hall, in which I played a part in a play, in which I suppose I had a kind of conversion, but the conversion was such that I came home believing completely that there is life after death. I think God plays a part in that, and I've never wavered from that, and I still think it now. Right, let me think. Well, the one I had only this week, which was very macabre, was of my holding a person I thought was dead. Somebody else was holding the person as well, and said they just died, and I was holding on to their shoulder and their arm was still moving, and I was a bit horrified by this, the fact that the arm was still moving. But suddenly this body, because I can only think of it as a body, I didn't know the person, changed into a small creature, and it wriggled away, and I was very concerned that something like a cat would catch it or a bird would catch it. And I can just remember waking up just being terribly concerned that this thing was going to get eaten. I think it's most definitely the elongated weasel who looks like a tree, with my charming granddaughter standing at the bottom looking up. Gardening. Which you probably know. I love gardening, I love everything about it. I love the fact that seeds can grow into fantastic plants. And I have a garden which is described as living in a window box because it's so tiny and it's so crammed with flowers. But the greatest pleasure from gardening to me is just seeing if something will grow. Anything. So I just plant it and see what happens. I usually plant two of something, and if they both survive, I put them in different places like shade or sun, etc., to see what survives, and that gives me one of my greatest pleasures. I'm not miserable very often, so don't really know. I suppose since my husband died, it's probably loneliness, which fortunately for me doesn't happen very often. But I think for the depths of misery, it's just being on your own when you need someone to talk to, or someone to get some feedback from, or something like that. You can feel a bit miserable, or no one there to tell something that exciting has happened, and you've just won the captain's prize at golf, and you go home and there's nobody to tell. You feel quite miserable then. If I was a member of the opposite sex, I don't think so. I certainly don't think attractive to look at. Hopefully, again, perhaps my sense of humour might be attractive, but I can't think what else. I don't really know. It's something I can't really answer. I always find my name as, it means warrior and strength and strong, and hopefully that suits me. Oh, Darcy Bussell. Do you know who Darcy Bussell is? Right. Well, she's a ballerina who's just retired. It's a beautiful ballerina. boundless energy, beauty, absolutely fantastic. And if I could be her for a week, have her energy and grace and be able to perform like she does, I would be really, really happy. Oh, the Rolling Stones, because before you were born, we used to have wild parties in the village where we lived, and as you know, your father worked in television, so we used to have television personalities there and people from the village there, and the Rolling Stones were the hit of the time, so we played their music a lot and danced and rioted around like you do now to some other group. I think I have to live the moment. I think I couldn't kill anybody now. Whatever circumstances, I'd have to save the life today. I think one would probably be my first kiss. That should interest you. Well, in those days, which is a long, long time ago, we used to have things called hoops made of wood, which you bowled along the street with your hand or a piece of wood. And I can remember specifically bowling this hoop along the pavement with the boy across the road who was called Derek Smith, I remember. And according to my mother, we ran down the road together and I somehow got inside this hoop, and so did he, and he kissed me. I must have been all of 6 at the time. I think free will does exist, but always for me, I haven't really had much problem with thinking about what I want to do. If I've ever gone for a job, for example, I've always gone along with an open mind and thought, if they like me, I get it, and if they don't like me, I won't get it. And usually I get it. And I'm quite happy there and move on to something else. And if another crossroad comes up, I approach that with the same attitude. You know, if I'm meant to get it, I will, and if I'm not meant to get it, I won't. So whether you call that free will or just a laid-back attitude to life, I don't know. But it's always seemed to work for me. I don't have many regrets. Oh, half full, isn't it? Yes. Yes. It's half full, but I keep waiting for the next glass of wine.